A very good day to everyone. We are very happy to see you all supporting and joining us today. Welcome to our webinar. Thank you for tuning in, and your presence is highly appreciated. I'm Vinita, and I head marketing for Total eBiz Solution, and I'll be your host for today's session. In today's webinar, we want to talk deeply about AI for procurement, basically exploring the transformative potential of AI and especially around Gen AI. So before we begin, I want to just share that we have a packed agenda for you, starting with referring to some AI use cases, to having a demo of our procure to pay solution, a panel discussion, and of course, Q&A session. But before we get started, a few housekeeping items that I wanted to go through. All the participants will be muted throughout the session. You could post your questions through the Q&A chat forum, which will be addressed at the end. And the webinar is getting recorded, and a recording link will be sent to all the attendees via email. So please join me in welcoming Arun Kumar, Chief Technology Officer at Total eBiz Solution. Arun brings on table a decade of experience working with clients across multiple industry sector and helping them with their digital transformation initiative. He will be talking about the expansive role of AI, specifically taking us through few industry-specific use cases. So over to you, Arun.
Right. Thank you, Vinita, for that introduction. And good morning to you all. And welcome to this session, AI in procurement. Right. So for the next 10 minutes, I'll be covering what is GenAI, applying GenAI in various business use cases, intelligent automation, and generative AI in procurement. So let me jump into what GenAI is all about. I'm sure many of you would be knowing what GenAI is. This is what Gemini has to say about GenAI, and ChatGPT has to say about itself, right? So this is basically a screenshot from Gemini and ChatGPT. Now, to put it in a nutshell, GenAI is basically an advanced AI technology. It is based on something called as large language model, basically a model that is trained with billions of parameters. It is capable of generating various forms of content, such as text or images, and these models can understand and correlate information from a diverse set of our prompts, as well as the documents that we provide it. It gives us insightful and contextually relevant responses. And that is what GenAI makes it a good tool for our AI implementations. This capability makes GenAI highly versatile, enabling it to assist in tasks, in day-to-day tasks, any business-related tasks that involves information processing or data processing. Some of the applications of GenAI. So I just grouped into a few areas so that for a better convenience of understanding. If you look at text generation capabilities, audio generation, image generation capabilities of GenAI, so what it helps is like understanding various documents, summarizing it for you, summarizing from meetings, we recorded meetings, web white papers, emails, email chains, chats, etc. It can even help in creating proposals, presentations, and documents. And these are information that is already existing in your repository. So it can understand from this and generate templates which can be used. And this makes the whole process really fast. And also for less skilled people, it makes it easy as well. Or people who are less experienced. I won't say less skilled, less experienced. Next, let me move on to something called as knowledge discovery. So this is a very focused area, which with a trained model, you get to extract information from your various repositories or information that is hidden in within the organization. It can be in applications. It can be in applications like SharePoint, Workday, SAP. So SharePoint is your document management system, which has got a lot of content and data in there. So it is, if you give access to the GenAI solution to access these repositories, you can get answers to questions like, okay, who are the most reliable, cost-effective suppliers for a particular service? Now, how does it get this information from historical data? Or questions like, what are the risk factors to consider dealing with a vendor from a particular country? Now, this information would be in your organization policy. So what the tool does is it helps you to get to this information faster. In a traditional search, the problem would be you don't know where this information exists, or you probably remember vaguely and you go to various repositories, do a search, it gives you 5-10 links, you go through one by one all these documents to find the information. But what you needed was just a 2-liner or a 3-liners information, but you have to sieve through so much of data or so much of documents to get there. So that is how it greatly benefits in reducing the time for those searches. The next, I'll talk about something about synthetic data generation. So any organization, when they go into when they start their AI journey, may not have the right kind of data. Now that data is, not having the data is not a problem anymore. You, based on the structure or your business function, you can generate that data, and that data can be used to train your models and take you through the AI journey faster. Another key element is code generation. Now, people today, the techies today may not have knowledge in all the various programming languages. Now, code generation can help bridge that gap and also help in implementing AI solutions faster, because sometimes the AI skills are lacking. So you can use code generators and a whole lot of generative AI provided solutions to go and start this journey and achieve your success faster. So how do we enhance processes using intelligent automation? So intelligent automation is about integrating a suite of smart automation tools. Now, these technologies no longer operate in silos. Technologies like NLP, OCRs, your RPA, your data, your AI and ML models, conversational bots, etc. They don't operate in silos anymore. So you need to have an integrated workflow or a process which takes into consideration or makes use of these various smart technologies or smart automation technologies and automates the end-to-end process. So that is where intelligent automation is. And how do you orchestrate these various tools? You can bring in a BPM as an orchestrator, or there are a whole lot of new technologies out there which can make it faster in implementation. As per Gartner's survey in early 2024, industry leaders in procurement are currently prioritizing productivity. So this is from the various surveys that they have done. So this is a broad, though it is from the procurement leaders, it is also broadly an industry trend today, where enhancing productivity through technological advancements, particularly GenAI, is becoming a central focus today. Moving on the survey benefits, a survey that has been done by Gartner. The other areas or other benefits beyond just improving productivity are like cost reduction, enhancing business agility, accelerating digital transformation, insights-driven interactions with both internal as well as external stakeholders. According to Gartner's survey, for the next 12 to 18 months, what are the key areas that are going to be, or what are the key areas in which they are looking at improvements or productivity gains, or these are things. 21% change in productivity in the next 12 to 18 months, 12% increase in cost savings, and 11% increase in revenue. So this is how GenAI is going to help organizations in achieving their goals. Moving further into the overall procurement value chain, right? So areas like supply selection. GenAI leverages historical data and past interactions with the suppliers, right, to assess the supplier risk and reliability as well, improving supply quality as well as diversity. This not only reduces risks, but also enhances sourcing efficiency. When it comes to areas like purchase negotiations. By creating a realistic negotiation scenario and also having real-time data available, people are able to get into better negotiation decisions. And also with GenAI, it helps in better getting better terms with the suppliers. This not only ensures better pricing, but also drives the valuable outcomes from each of these negotiations. Supplier relationship management. So for a company to thrive and succeed, a good supply ecosystem is important. So effective management of the suppliers, and also monitoring the interactions and also performance of these suppliers helps in a collaborative and innovative ecosystem. Now, GenAI facilitates this by providing insights that enhances the communication and also helps in building stronger relationship as well as loyalty with the suppliers. So some more value chain components that I would see is like spend analytics. So GenAI aids in identifying cost-cutting opportunities and making strategic decisions. This includes selecting a particular partner as a strategic partner and optimizing the spending patterns and reducing costs. So this helps to apply different strategies in helping in reducing the cost of based on the past history and past knowledge that we have. When it comes to contract management, GenAI improves the contract management process overall, and also putting in various automation technologies, automating the whole contract management process. It can it enables to alert the stakeholders on specific, say for example, a contract is expiring, or a contract requires certain clause changes. All these alerts can come from using GenAI in contract management. Moving on to sustainability and ethical sourcing. In managing relationships with numerous suppliers, GenAI helps to track the process of sustainability and also the various reports that are submitted by the suppliers. And this helps in amalgamating the overall sustainability goals of the organization. So through these elements, which facilitated by GenAI, significantly helps in refining and advance the procurement value chain, ensuring cost efficiency, good supplier relationship, and helping in strategic decision making. Right. So some success stories to start with. I mean, this is more like some of the Fortune. I would say Fortune 500 companies. What are the various AI-driven solutions that they have implemented, and what successes they have seen? So this is based on a survey by Everest. So you're looking at smart sourcing. So basically, it increases the visibility in the whole overall procurement process and procurement value chain, empowering procurement users with chatbots so that they can have get better insights from the procurement process. Then you have RFX process, which is nothing but RFPs or procure to pay, the end-to-end process from procurement or from starting with the signing or a discussion with a supplier with an NDA, all the way to the end of awarding a contract to a particular supplier. So this whole process is automated. Then there are organizations who have implemented category strategies, basically looking for common characteristics across various categories and bringing them together. And contracts, basically AI-infused contract and lifecycle management. Right. With this, I'll hand it over to Shruti, who is our procurement and AI expert. She'll be walking through with you a demo on Copilot and driven PRPO process. Over to you, Shruti.
Thanks, Arun, for the insightful information on GenAI. Hello and welcome all. This is Shruti Bidarkar, and today I take a great pleasure in showcasing you our procure-to-pay system, which is also AI-infused and addresses some critical but common pain areas of the procurement users. All right. So procurement process works differently for different organizations. However, the industry practices and the underlying principles enable us to put them in these high-level steps. As you see, the user from purchasing organization first browses into a product catalog to, to, to see the desired product or service. This catalog must be typically connected to the internal ERP system or maintained in some other system. Further, he will raise a purchase request and seek approval for inviting vendor codes. Now, our system is extremely configurable and can have dynamic workflows based on parameters like type and product of service, the department raising it, or even the estimated value of the product and service. On approval, the user will invite quotations from different vendors, which can be via different sources like emails, portals, documents, etc., which are structured as well as unstructured. The user will now have all the quotations in our system to perform evaluation. Next, either the user or an evaluation committee performs a vendor selection and generates a letter of award for the vendor, which will reiterate the key expectations of the product or service. The system will also generate a purchase order and pass it to the vendor for e-signing. Further, the user receives the goods and services from the vendor along with an invoice. The system will generate a goods receipt note, or popularly known as GRN, which is used by the finance team to process payments after a two-way or a three-way match. Finally, like any other good system, we enable capturing of the feedback on vendor services to gauge the performance. Now let's have a brief look at the benefits of digitizing this P2P process. Typically, many organizations who have had traditional approach of P2P will have everything in non-digital approach. The non-standard request formats bring in vague specifications and requirements. The lack of format and validations also brings in erroneous data and documents as part of this process. Now, all this leads to ambiguous scope and mismatched expectations during the actual delivery of the product or service. Plus, due to non-centralized data, the organizations suffer from lack of transparency and lack of data for decision making. Welcome to the age of digitization, where the modern framework offers plenty benefits. Using standard digital forms for the purchase request establishes a uniform error-free data flow. Collaborative dynamic system makes the actions traceable and transparent with a very easy to and fro communication. Integration with other system eliminates the manual data transfer work. Also, the real-time dashboards on the empirical data captured will bring in effective decision making. Last but not the least, the most important benefit of digitization has been its scalability to AI, infusing functions like intelligent document processing, AI-enabled decision making, data analytics, and pattern-based actions, etc. Now, before having a look at the AI-infused P2P, let's understand how AI and Copilot works using prompt engineering. Prompts are nothing but instructions or queries or questions that one types or speaks into the Copilot. A good prompt to Copilot will result in an accurate and useful response. However, a vague, complex prompt results into a poor or irrelevant output. Hence, it is very important to write good prompts by training AI engine as well as training yourself to get the most out of it. Now, before looking into a few scenarios where AI is helping the user and the approver, let's first understand the overall interface of our system. All right, as you see on the left side in the panel, I have different modules which are listed from purchase request right till the goods receipt. Also, as an administrator, I will have an additional access to the modules for database maintenance. This database can be either for vendors, for products, for budget, or any other information which is needed by the administrator. In the center panel, you will see the entire list of the purchase request with, with the status and few other details. This list, of course, can be sorted, filtered, and searched for. Each of the purchase requests gives the details of the specifications and the flow. As you see on the top, there is a business flow which brings in the timelines into picture, the actions which are there on the purchase request, and also the owner of the action. This way, we bring in transparency and accountability. On the right-hand side, we see the hero of our system, that is the Copilot, to enable AI infusion in this process. Now let's look at a few scenarios. Any purchasing organization raises number of procurement requests. Now, over the period of time, this database becomes voluminous and definitely can be utilized effectively on application of the correct technology. Let's consider a user who wants to raise a purchase request, for example, a product laptop. Maybe it's his first time to raise a purchase request, or maybe he just doesn't have enough time to fill in the details. Or maybe he's not sure of what expectations he wants to put into the form. In such cases, we can take help of Copilot. Now let's see how this is tackled in our system. Let's prompt to the Copilot to provide me a reference purchase request for the same item laptop and then replicate the requirement to generate a fresh purchase request. Allow me to input the prompt to the Copilot. All right. Now, in this scenario, Copilot is going to send me a list of purchase requests as you see on the screen. By clicking on each one of them individually, I'm able to see the details of the purchase request. Now, let's assume that as a user, I want to view all and I select, for example, 1044 as my reference purchase request because it is very close to what I want to have. So I simply replicate this by clicking on the button called as clone or replicate. And here you go. I already have a purchase request with 1074 as the ID, which is a replica of the reference purchase request. So a hassle-free request was raised in simply a couple of minutes with the help of Copilot and a simple button click. Normally, this kind of task would have taken much longer time considering the research and the feeding of the data that I have to do. Now let's consider another example where AI and Copilot can be very handy. Let's consider where user has received a number of quotations from multiple vendors and now has a very crucial task of vendor selection at hand. Now our system maintains a vendor database with some auto-generated scores. These scores are calculated on basis of some parameters like feedback points, the promptness or the lead time of the supplier, the quality of goods and service which is given, the reliability of the supplier, as well as the reputation of the vendor, which can be gathered from public forums or social networking sites. For this example, let me take a purchase request, say PRF 1063, and navigate to a tab called as Submitted Quotes. Now here on the screen, you will see all the quotations which are given to me by the vendors and are captured in my system. At this point, I want to first enable my AI recommendation engine by clicking on the button here. All right, so now this particular field of supplier evaluation criteria gets available to me. Now let me take a prompt, say lowest vendor quote, and ask my AI engine to provide me a recommendation basis lowest vendor quote. When I go to these requests, I see that I have received a response saying so and so supplier with the lowest quote of 5,900 has been recommended to me by the AI engine. However, when I look into the details from the recommendation, I realize that this particular supplier doesn't have a very good vendor score. That means in past, my organization has received a has received a product or service which may not be favorable at that point of time. So let me now tweak my AI recommendation quote to, for example, best quote. And let me see how my vendor selection or how my recommendation is impacted. When I go to the evaluations, I see that now I have been recommended with a different vendor. I see the vendor score is high, but also the amount is high. Now, at this point of time, as a user, the decision is still left on to me to whether select a vendor which is with the lowest quote or a vendor which is with a very good experience, but the quote is higher. This is how AI will enable an efficient decision making and utilize the learning from the past experiences for the future engagement. All right. Now let's see a few scenarios where not just the requester, but the approver or the manager um, can talk to Copilot and gain some data. One of the key KPIs for a procurement head is to bring down the expenses without compromising the quality of goods and services received. The key element for this is the vendor price negotiations. As a second level or higher level approver, I will have a view of all the department agnostic requests. In this scenario, let's consider that approver is actually looking for availing a bulk discount from a vendor. So now let's go back to the system and prompt the Copilot to list down all the requests which are not yet awarded, but they are meant for a single item, for example, say laptop. So allow me to prompt the Copilot now. Here you go. Now I will see a few requests which are still under evaluation. All right. And for the same item over here. Now, as an approver, I get a facility to actually merge or consolidate this request. So all I have to do is select these and click on a button called as consolidate. By doing this, what my system will do is give me an aggregate amount or the total of all the line items or the products which are there in each of these individual purchase requests. And create a purchase request with the total amount or quantities. This way, I am able to negotiate with the supplier that, hey, now my quantities are no more in lesser number, they are in higher number. So let's negotiate for a bulk discount or let's negotiate for a lesser price. Now, similarly, there are more such negotiation avenues which can be generated via Copilot. Now, the approver may want to find out how much of a business the organization is giving to a specific vendor. So now let's go back to the Copilot to provide me the total purchase requests that were awarded to a specific vendor in the past. So here I'm putting the prompt again. All right. The information which will be given to me can be a very useful insight. So let's assume that now the Copilot will give me a list of purchase requests which were awarded to a certain vendor. Now, this insight can be telling me that yes, this is a preferred vendor because I'm having a good experience with this vendor in past year. So now is an opportunity for me to strike a better deal with this vendor, saying, now you're my preferred choice. So let's have some negotiations done. Consider a scenario where instead of list of purchase requests, I get only one or two or very small number of purchase requests which were awarded. That also means that maybe this is a vendor who may not be preferred by my organization and could be a person I want to stay away from. So depending on what kind of insights I want to gather from the data, I'm able to prompt the copilot and receive the information. Let's look into one more avenue where Copilot can help. Now, each department has budgets assigned to them for pre-approved goods and services. So let's imagine a scenario where at the end of financial year, the department heads wants to analyze which budget bucket was in demand and which was not. So let's prompt to the Copilot again to provide me the details on the budget which was utilized last year. All right. Now, Copilot will respond to me with a budget code, which was most utilized or least utilized, which was AMC. That means the bucket for which this budget was created has not been utilized fully. So maybe for the next year, I don't assign as much of total amount to this bucket as compared to the others. Similarly, now let's look into a scenario where instead of least utilized, I'm looking into the most utilized budget code. At this point, whatever Copilot will give as a response will tell me that this is a particular area where I need to assign more budget going forward as well. And it is something which is utilized more by my users. Similar to budget analysis, we can also look into expense analysis. Let's take a scenario where the approver wants to forecast which goods or service was in demand in past year and what will be the condition in the coming year. So that way, I'm able to monitor its demand and also arrange for its supply with enough lead time and also appropriate prices. So now let's prompt the Copilot to provide me an insight on which specific product, example laptop, was in great demand last year and what was my total expense incurred. So allow me to put a prompt again over here. Now, the Copilot will give me a response saying for the product laptop, the total expense which was incurred last year was, say, around $70,000. Now, this kind of information helped me forecast the demand. If it is for a specific service, I can visualize it or forecast it saying, hey, this service is something which I may need on yearly basis. So let me allocate more budget to it. Or if it is for a certain product which is not annual in nature, I might decide that, we purchased so much of this product last year. We don't need to allocate more budget for it next year because we possibly need this product only once in 3 years, right? So this is how the insights from Copilot or the correct prompts to the Copilot can help me take better decisions. Now, coming to the last but not the least of our scenarios is on the document processing and how it is handled in our system. We have seen that the entire P2P process, there are a number of documents at each step, RFI, RFQs, purchase request, POs, or GRNs or invoices. Now, these documents can be fairly assumed to be in different non-standard format with lot of crucial information in it. With document processing, the purchasing organization can populate the relevant information into a structured template. And this structured template can be leveraged further for decision making. Now, typically, intelligent document processing will leverage AI to do so and uses specialized parsers with advanced OCR, computer vision, NLP to ensure that unstructured data is captured accurately. Now, let's look into a scenario where I'm supposed to generate a contract document or a purchase order or a letter of award for my supplier. And this kind of information is not only captured in one document, but multiple documents with a different format. This via document processing, this data is residing into my system, and by simply generating the LOA, I'm able to templatize this information and send it to the user for e-signing. Now let's take an example of a specific request which is already awarded in my system. So this is a request which is already awarded, and I go to the final tab of approval and click here on generate LOA. At this point of time, the system will enter into the database, pick out all the information which is being processed, and put it in a templatized format for me to send it to the supplier. All right. Now with this, I hope you all have got a good look into our system. And here are some key benefits of AI-infused P2P. Now we transition to another exciting segment of this webinar. Over to you, Vinita.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Arun, for sharing your insights and showing us some practical AI applications for procurement workflows. And I'm happy to now get into the next segment, our panel discussion. We have with us today Hari Korapati, who is a very experienced sourcing and procurement leader, joins us from Australia, bringing expertise in sourcing and operational leadership. And along with him, we have Ms. Hilda Nguyen, partner solution architect from Microsoft based in Vietnam. And her expertise is helping clients on Microsoft Power Platform or Copilot and driving digital transformation initiatives. And along with her, we have Arun, CTO at TEBS. And to kickstart the discussion, I would like to start with Hari first. Hari, you bring to table almost 3 decades of experience, having worked from late 90s to now, and you would have seen so much of transformation across technology. The question that I would like to ask is, how do you foresee AI evolving into the procurement sector? What are the trends that you anticipate in the future for the next 5 years?
Thanks, Linda. Firstly, thanks for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be here and talk to the panel and all the experienced specialists here. So I've worked in the procurement for almost 25 years now, Linda. And to answer your question, the role of AI in procurement. So firstly, procurement, as we see as a function, it itself has transformed significantly from being a support function 20 years back to being a business partner to actually provide that kind of guidance and leadership into making decisions, if you like. So the decisions are made based on data, as we all know. And that's where the procurement function, whether it's the sourcing or procurement operations, it all relies on a good quality data and how we can utilize that data and what are the tools that we use. So I've been more or less been using AI, maybe not at a full length as we see it today, in the last 6-7 years at least. And this has transformed a lot of things in my function and how we operate and deliver our duties or objectives as a business. So taking that into consideration and as the data is growing every day, as we all know, and how we use data and how fast and the reliable data and the quality of it, it actually drives the future. And in the next 5 to 10 years, I can only see that AI playing a significant role in procurement function, and how we use AI as our digital assistant, as we call it today. So, yeah, no, definitely, it's going to play a significant role. That's what I would like to say. In the next 5 to 10 years, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, with such an important role in future, how do you think enterprises can actually scale AI into their business? And in view, what is the kind of preparedness needed in terms of at the organization level?
Yeah, definitely. So having AI or introducing AI into the business or any function like procurement, it needs some preparedness, whether it's organizational or operational preparedness. And that comes with people, right? So being ready. So asking the question, are we ready? How much do we understand AI to start with? And do we have the right tools? Whether it's whatever technology that supports the AI function or the element of the technology and the resource readiness. So whether my team is really ready, do they understand how to use AI? And do they have the right processes in place? Because AI can only deliver what it can deliver with a good quality data and how you feed the data into the system. And that's how AI learns. That's what it is, right? So it's artificial intelligence. It learns, the machine learns as you feed it. So it's like a child. You give them the right tools, right information, right data, it performs well. So having that preparedness and readiness in the team and the organization itself, having that appetite to change is the key. So I think most organizations put resources in training and preparedness before they implement any technologies, and they're the success. That's a success factor. I think that's the resource development and training is the key.
Yeah, I completely agree. The preparedness part of it. Yeah. So that draws my question to you, Hilda. Hari talked about the preparedness, and I think Microsoft is like moving at a lightning speed in driving AI innovations. And we recently heard the CEO Satya Nadella announcing a 2.2 billion investment in Malaysian market as well. So, in your view, what are those platforms or solutions within Microsoft where it is those initiatives are being pushed a lot more within Microsoft? Are there any such platforms where the AI initiatives are being pushed forward?
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me today for sharing about the AI story and how Microsoft commitment in the AI journey with the individual and organization. So we have seen several investment of Microsoft recently focused in the AI with the AI cloud and infrastructure. Like last week with the in agents, like data center in Thailand and investment in Malaysia and Indonesia. So we also we are in Microsoft, we are trying to innovate and bring the solution across all the industry and solution. So like, for example, from very specific, Microsoft recently announced the new industrial AI innovation from the cloud to the factory floor. So it's like the solution AI driven is for manufacturing to enable intelligence factory, optimize operation, and enhance employee productivities using like the combined AI technologies of Microsoft product, like Microsoft Fabric or like Power Platform and Azure AI and Dynamics 365. So these AI-driven solution is the effort to have the company can resolve the industrial challenge. Like for example, in manufacturing, like with the data silos, with the supply chain visibility, and the as Harriet mentioned, it's the need to upskill employee in the AI journey. So based on this solution focus at the moment, is also Microsoft had the vision to broaden the effort to innovate not across the industry, not only in the manufacturing, but also in financial service, telco, healthcare, retail, and other like the business partners.
Yeah, I agree. So how exactly is Copilot actually synergizing the AI into Power Platform and Dynamics 365? We would like to hear from you on that.
I think the most common term we will hear about the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 related to what Arun had mentioned before is about the generative AI. So it's become very common nowadays. So we also have a report from Microsoft and LinkedIn to show that we have the use of the generative AI with the knowledge worker now. It has been doubled in last 6 months. So employees who are working their daily work have the basing with the volume of the work. They are now trying to bring the AI into their daily work, to increase the productivity. It's not only like ChatGPT, it's also like Copilot in Microsoft 365. They're using the Power Platform and using the Dynamics 365. So like, for example, with the Power Platform, they can use the Copilot to easily to create application and the automate workflow for their daily work, and they can analyze the data without like using the coding. Also, like they can build with the Copilot Studio, which is the product like AI power. They can build a chatbot that can interact with the user in the natural language. And also, like with the Dynamics 365 Copilot, the end user, it can connect across the business application. It can help you to get the data, easy to get the data from the CRM, from the F&O, the ERP, to generate the idea, drafting the content, and access the information more efficiency. So for regarding about like what we are seeing during the session today about the automation and the AI, the GenAI and the Copilot feature inside the Microsoft is not only stop at the searching and the summarizing data that you are working on, but also in the very near future, it will be like streamline the automation and collaboration in various roles and industrials.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Hari, quickly want to go back to you, and if you could, Hilda talked about this new solution that Microsoft is really energizing and helping the customer. Any tangible business benefit which you have seen while implementing such AI solutions? So quickly, if you could share some insights on any metrics, any success metrics for our audience.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, as I mentioned before, I have used AI not to the full extent as today we are using, but we have started using it from a preliminary stage for the last 6-7 years, and we have applied this technology, whether it's coming to sourcing, how we process the data, to help make our decisions while selecting the vendors or running the tenders, and also then going on to the operations side, where how we process the invoice, for example, as a simple example, right? So we have there are two benefits, tangible benefits that I have delivered, as my team has delivered in the last 80 years, is on the resource side, for example, we have reduced or improved the productivity to about 80% on the resource utilization. And then the speed of the second tangible is the speed and the error fixing on how things are managed and how this processing is done on the operations side. As a KPI, one of the key KPIs was the error reduction, the manual errors or whatever it might be in the processing of invoice, the payments, and the monetary values of it. The KPI we initially had was sitting somewhere around 10 to 20%. Current KPI is sitting at 98%. So that is efficiency. So processing an invoice, for example, it takes X amount of minutes, right? And then imagine doing a mistake in it. The amount of time we spend is 10 times more than actually processing an invoice. It's actually rather easier to cancel the invoice and get a new invoice and process it, to give you an idea. So that's the amount of efficiencies that you can get. And these are tangible. This is the amount of time you reduce in how you operate and deliver your day-to-day operations, right? And that's the productivity on the other side. So that's what AI delivers, as we are talking. And then it's, as the note says, is AI doing 60% more productivity. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that is something really valuable for our audience. Coming to you, Arun, you spend a lot of time working with clients day and night, and all the solution that we have talked about. What it'll be helpful to know from you, what are the common challenges you see that the clients face in, while they are implementing AI, and what in your view are the ways in which these challenges can be addressed?
Right. So the couple of things that typically we see in customers is the readiness. The first thing would be how ready they are to embrace a new technology, right? So there is always resistance to new things, right? So that is the first step. So once that is, which I feel these days is becoming less, because with GenAI making the selling the possibilities of AI, it has created a major, I would say, to start off, it's a bit of a hype, but now it is people are realizing the reality and also seeing the benefits. Now, what the next challenge, I would say, like what Hari was saying, the initial benefits that they got was probably around 20%. That doesn't look tangible or doesn't look interesting from the ROI perspective, right? So that is another block that some organizations have. So we need to see that implementing AI is a journey. It doesn't start with day one and you see benefits on day two. No, it's a journey that you learn to fit it into your ecosystem. You need to see whether your source data is good enough for you to come out with a good solution. If this, so these are things that you get to see once only when you start. So the key is to go in for POCs and pilots, learn, fail early, and then repeat the process until you see success, because success is there waiting for you, and you need to see what is your focus. And so these are the key process that you follow. Another area that I see is like what Hari again highlighted is the internal capabilities. But from what Hilda said and what Hari mentioned, there is a lack. There is definitely, there won't be enough people around for AI. But at the same time, the technologies that are available today is making implementing AI very easy and fast. Until you are looking for very complex things, the simple AI, the low-hanging fruit is already there and easy to implement, and it is very fast.
Okay, thank you. We're running tight on time. Just one last question for panel discussion to you, Arun. Quickly, if you can give one or two success stories that you've seen, where you've seen the clients benefiting from the solution.
Right. So earlier I was talking about enterprise knowledge discovery. So this is a tool that we implemented for a couple of organizations. So one of the organization is a large, they manage buildings and in properties in Singapore. So what they have a history of cases for each of these buildings which run to 30 years or 40 years. There's a whole lot of documents which they've scanned and dumped somewhere. Now, if there is a new case coming in, if you want to refer back to this historical data, it's unimaginable for a human to do it. Receiving through 30 years of data, documents, scanned documents. With GenAI's based solution that we provided, it has become really a breeze, and it is the value that they gain in terms of solving or closing these cases is really faster now. There is a good, I would say, customer satisfaction element. And another area is when people don't know what information is available in the organization, which might be useful for them, right? So that is another solution that we have implemented for a bid management team in an organization. Now, when it comes to their proposals, their response to bids, they could easily use information that is already created and available, which they did not know existed or knew that existed, but don't know where, right? That is one key benefit that we could give to some of the organizations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Hari, Hilda. That was really, I wish I could go on, but we have time limitation. So before I move on to the next segment of Q&A, I just want to quickly give you a snapshot of who we are as TEBS. We pride ourselves to be your digital transformation partner. And as you can see on screen, we have 20 plus years of industry expertise with our footprint spanning into 6 global offices across Asia, Australia, UAE. We are privileged to be working with clientele across different industries, from government to BFSI to logistic manufacturing and many more. We have strong alliances with not only Microsoft, of course, that's one of our most formidable partner. We have alliances with UiPath, Nintex, DocuSign. On the AI, we have tied up with Druid, Friends, OutSystem. Our comprehensive services spans across application engineering, application modernization, AI, cloud, security, data analytics, and conversational AI, GenAI, and many more. Feel free to reach out to us if you would like to know anything more about these, our expertise in these domain areas. Ajin, if you can go back on the slide, I just have a little bit more that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, and as you can see, we have built strong Microsoft competencies across business application, modern work, Azure, and we are a Microsoft partner since 2016 and an ECIF and managed partner. We work strongly together to leverage the Microsoft platform to derive value for our clients. So that's in a nutshell about us, and I'll quickly go on to Q&A. I'm really sorry we have a little time, but if you all in the audience can stay back, I would like to field all the questions. The first question that I see is, can you put the AI on top of any P2B application? So I think Arun, maybe you could help to answer that.
Right. So when it comes to implementing AI or Gen AI, the whole idea is not to disrupt your current application or not get intrusive. That means you're not going to actually go, for example, you have an SAP, you're not going to go and infuse AI into it. What you're going to do is you're going to work on the data and also the process flow around the major applications that you already have. Right. So if it is a P2P solution that you have purchased off the shelf, then work on the data and find solutions that can integrate easily with it. Like Power Platform is a very good solution which can integrate with, is a very good platform that can integrate with such solutions. So you get the data, you analyze it, you do the analytics, you use GenAI to derive insights from it, and then that helps you with the decision making. So if when it comes to automation, there again, you have decision points that AI can help you with, and the implementation can be done. The automation implementation can be done by the intelligent automation tool sets that I earlier explained in the session.
Okay, and there's a question about what challenges do you think organization would have to wrestle with if they're integrating the AI into P2P?
The primary one would be data issues. So that is first thing that you need to sort out. Second is skills. So the skills is, again, you have partners who you can work with. And also when the key with generative AI that what has come in is training your users and with generate the prompting skills. Right. So these are few things, but it is not a major challenge. I would say it's easily fixable.
Okay, and next one is something to do with the ERP system. There's a question which says, I already have SAP ERP running. Do I need to modify the SAP a lot?
Right, like what I mentioned earlier, no, you don't have to modify anything in your ERP. You just need to connect your process flow that you built on solutions like our platform or any BPM tools that are there in the market, and then integrate with your ERP. So basically, for example, you want the whole approval process to be taken out of ERP, build it on on Power Platform, and finally integrate the approved data into SAP.
Okay, and the next one is, can our internal team manage and continue to enhance and bring more AI into the system? How easy it is to maintain it?
Okay, so don't go for a big bang AI solution. Take it in smaller steps, in smaller POCs. That way you're in control of what is happening around the solutions that you're building. So that would be the approach that can help you succeed in your AI journey.
Okay, I have a long one here. Allow me to read this. Audience, I know we are bang on time, but hold on. If you are finding it interesting, please stay on. There are good questions coming in, and I'm sure you'll find it useful. The question, Arun, is AI relies on data, the quality of data input. In procurement, how do we get around good source of data if pricing, etc., is commercially sensitive for privacy? Security external to organization is also a challenge to divulge data and others to access that data. How do we get good source of data with these challenges in procurement?
Okay, so it was a long one, so let me try to put it together. Okay, so the key area I would see is one is security and the quality of data. I think these are the key points. So when it comes to generative AI, so okay, let me address the data first. The quality of data is definitely a challenge, like I said. But when it comes to overall data strategy that you're going to put in an organization, you need to identify which are the useful pockets of data that is available, and then no choice, the hard thing, you need to ensure that the source at which you're capturing this data has to be modified so that you have the data cleaned up, right? The second thing is when you build AI models. Now, these AI models, there are two components to it. One is your generative AI and traditional, or I won't say traditional, it is still in used now. So you have a whole lot of AI and machine learning models that you can build. Like I said, you can create synthetic data to train these models if you don't have enough data, and then apply the I would say curated data that you are going to put into I would say clean data that you're going to put into a data warehouse or something as your source. When it comes to security, your concern would be whether your data is going out of the organization, right? So when if you're using GenAI, yes, there should be certain level of precautions that has to be put in place. And at the same time, as of today, the industry, the providers of all these LLMs, they say they're not using it to train data, particularly people like OpenAI, where it is a service and they have those terms and conditions in place. The third thing is how are you going to use publicly available data? So that is where you can complement your lack of your internal data by consuming publicly available data as well.
Yeah. Okay. I think one more
Vinita, maybe
question. Yeah, sure.
Maybe I can add a little bit there. Yeah. So it's a journey, as Arun mentioned earlier. So the AI transformation is a journey, and the biggest challenge in the whole AI transformation is the data cleansing. And so I would say 60-70% of your effort goes into data cleansing to start with. And that's what drives your end product, which is the AI result. So if you're thinking, do I have to put a lot of manual effort into cleaning the data? No, you don't. So the AI tool or the technology can actually help you clean the data as well. It's not just using the cleansed data. So just everyone knows, so you can have an offline AI program that can be built. You don't have to, from a security point I'm talking about. So you can have that within your organizations where the AI of your organization can help you clean the data and prepare it. And then if you really want to connect with the industry or the global data and the providers, you can do that offline as well. So there is a different levels of security protocols that you can apply within the data tools or the AI data tools, and also use those different tools for the cleansing of data as well, if that makes sense.
One more question, I think little relatable. How can integrating AI into P2P process help detect and prevent fraudulent activities and ensure the compliance to regulatory requirements? I mean, Arvind, would you like to take that?
Yeah, probably. I'll start off, then Harry can comment on that as well. So basically, if you look at anomaly detection, that's a starting point for you to see where things are going wrong. So AI is the best tool because that is what is going to help you to detect these things that are deviating from common patterns, which will be a trigger, and from that you can put in a process to evaluate what is happening, right? So that is something that is easier to implement these days with AI, with the right AI, I would say AI or machine learning models that you put in. Hari, anything that you want to add on that?
Yeah, no, sure, definitely. So I have faced the data security challenge in the P2P, and it was not nice, and many organizations do face it. So AI actually, as we call it, it's a smart tool. It learns every second of the day, right? So as you keep feeding information, it constantly keeps searching for those anomalies, and it red flags those areas, and it gives you that in. So it's not easy to explain, but the tool is capable of finding those kind of gaps or anomalies and prevent those things. And I've been using it for a while now, and it does really work. Yeah, it's not 100% because the fraudulent or the fraudsters, they actually keep developing much faster than us, right? They're much smarter in a way. So the way that try to hack into systems and try to do the wrong things is evolving, and so is the AI tool and ourselves. So it's again, it's a long process. You think of fixing all the fraudulent questions today, you might have a new one tomorrow. Trust me. So it's kind of evolving process.
Right, and it's also linked to social engineering. So, so people make use of this. I mean, internally also, even within the organization, also social engineering can be implemented to modify people's behaviors or work on people's behaviors or use the loopholes or gaps in people's behavior and use it for fraud, right? So that is it's very difficult for us to identify with manually identifies because it comes out in an audit which happens probably 1 year later, or that's too late by then. You need to fix it earlier. So you need those triggers in the system to actually alert. Initially, you'll have a lot of false positives, but no choice. You'll have to go through that cycle, and eventually you can see the benefits.
Thank you. Thank you, panelists. I think your answers are great. I can see the audience is staying and I have more questions coming up. So we'll stay there for 3 more minutes. So I have one question, new question here. If let's say in an organization, they still don't have an ERP system, how should we start? Since there is no quality data to be, once again, since there is no quality data to be integrated.
Okay, so it's not necessary that you need an ERP, as long as you have some system already in place, which has got some data, you can use it for building your AI solutions. But if, say, you are implementing a new, you're considering implementing a new application, for example, a simple PRPO process, which is totally manual, now you're going to automate it. Right. So within this PRPO process cycle, like what Shruti was demonstrating earlier, once implemented, the data, the AI model, the GenAI or the Copilot that you're going to put on top of it is going to thrive on your current data. Only thing is you need to train the model a bit with synthetic data that GenAI can provide you for that business use case. So it's not that you don't, if you have a blank white paper, you're going to start your automation journey, you can still use AI. Nothing is stopping you from using it, but you cannot use everything that is out there in the market, but you need to know what to use. That's where your initial discovery sessions, your brainstorming sessions are going to help you in coming out, choosing what is the right place to start with.
So I think I have been able to address most of the questions here. So that takes us to the end of the webinar. Sorry. First of all, thank you so much, Hari and Hilda, joining us and making the session so insightful. I'm sure the audience would have felt it too. We've made a genuine effort to bring in all the procurement use cases, challenges, but do feel free to, you have on the screen, our contact coordinates. You could reach out to the respective sales heads for Singapore, Malaysia, and Australia. And on the left-hand side, as you can see, there is a QR code which you could sign. You can drop in your contact details. You could also put in your specific queries related to what you've seen today, or even you've seen among the service offering that we have, if you have specific questions, and we'd love to hear your feedback. We continue to have series of webinars, so please keep an eye out, and we would love to have you attend most of our sessions. Also, in your inbox, very soon, we will send across the recording of the link, and reach out to us for anything specific that you have seen, even if you would like to see a free demo of the solution that Shruti was showcasing. We are working with clients across sectors, geographies, and we have a lot of use cases, which, it wasn't possible to bring everything in an hour, but trust us, we have a lot. So we would love to hear from you. Until next time, Take care, stay connected. Goodbye, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.